Hello, hello. Bl'Artagnan here with Transcendence Tier 4 Reckoning. We're bringing a highly offbeat and extremely creative team of Vaan BT, Yuna LD, and Setzer rainbow numbers. That being said, please be sure to give that video a like if you haven't already. Consider hitting the subscribe button for more content like this, and ideally even better content, who knows. Really helps the channel out quite a lot, and I appreciate it. So what do we got going on here? Got these damn Vaan unicorn things, Vaan ponies. They're not really unicorns. I call them unicorns in the other video because they kind of, they're white horses, and everyone knows every white horse is either a unicorn or a Pegasus, depending on if it got wings. Never mind what unicorn actually means. But what do we got going on here? And these guys have this ridiculous AoE attack they periodically throw out. They do the storm calling. I mean, if you haven't fought these guys before, I'm not sure what you're doing in Transcendence without having already played through Vaan's Lost Chapter. That's a whole nother thing. Basically, they blow you up real hard. It's a crazy amount of damage they put out. Luckily, we have the Setzer, who, in addition to the rainbow numbers and the regular delays from his red card and the battery from his prismatic splash, give us that lovely freeze debuff that we enjoy so much. In hindsight, I probably could have brought Queen instead of Yuna if I wanted to really be fancy here. That being said, the orb for these guys is to have 12 buffs across the party. Just kind of casually being like, yeah, Yuna's good for here because she has a ton of buffs. So I'm like, alright, you know what, Path of Least Resistance. I could have done something silly involving like bringing in a Beatrix Call or something, Hope Call. But that ain't me. That ain't me. I will say that these guys, they gave me a little bit of trouble the first couple times I tried fighting them because they kept blowing me up. I was trying to be cocky and just use Setzer Freeze to get through it, and while still kind of having enough freeze uses for later in the fight, trying to balance that thing. Ended up deciding I wanted just a bit more security than that. There's an interesting trick though. If they've queued up the big, if they've gone into that Storm's Calling thing, if you push them below 80 or 50, they automatically change their targeting, and their next attack becomes a pair of Brave attacks in a row without an HP attack attached to it. So, as you just saw there. So that could be an interesting way to manipulate them so that they don't blow you up. There's something to think about. So what do we got going on here? I'm going to bring up the Farrah's Call now, specifically because I'm kind of hoping that the max Brave down and attack down kind of prevent the AoE attack from blowing us to smithereens. In this case, Vaan ends up actually stopping them from blowing us to smithereens because on top of the absurd amount of damage he's able to put out, he has a blind, which is just hilarious. I mean, it's nothing new, it's always been a part of his kit, but just the idea of such an insane damage dealer also having that kind of potentially comprehensive defensive utility is really funny to me. So, this is going to hurt. Yep, there it is. Thank you, Ferris. I'm pretty sure Ferris helped out there a little bit. 30% max Brave down probably coming in clutch. What do we got going on here? We are going to bring in the Wall or Ear of Light, because that might be another one of those big AoE attacks, and Yuna doesn't have a turn for a couple seconds. Ideally, I would like to save another my next two freeze jokers for the last wave, just because they have a bunch of Brave game shenanigans stuff. So we'll just go ahead and survive that. Thank you, Warrior of Light. I'm going to go ahead and use a... Since we have Warrior of Light up, we can go ahead and take a moment to just kind of reset ourselves, queue up get that attack bonus from Red Spiral, just kind of take a second, kind of collect ourselves. Warrior of Light continuing to make us nice and safe. And that was just a basic call. Love that guy. And who doesn't? I mean, I know I'm not the first to say this, but it does feel kind of weird that Setzer's Prismatic Flash isn't the skill that gives the rainbow numbers. I mean, I guess them's the breaks, but it would have been cool. Something I discovered during the course of this fight is I'm very bad at keeping track of Yuna's buffs. I'm pretty sure one or two of them have already fallen off her or someone else. Anywho, how are we doing here? We are doing okay. I'm a little bit nervous about the way the turns are kind of lining up there. We got back-to-back turns, so we're going to go ahead and use Setzer's red card to deal with that. Thanks, Setzer. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I don't think this is a big problem. Gonna go ahead and use that splash damage. There we go. On to the next wave. We got the Lunatic Grand Rocks, who are probably not as dangerous explicitly as the Vein Horses, but they have their own little tricks. We now have a critical hit orb. And it caps out at what, like, I don't know. It goes up by 2 basically. It's not like one of those, reset it when you need some room sort of situations. You have to kind of be keeping on them with the crits. And they'll be bringing out some interesting mechanics to try to stop us from critting them, which is fine. They're allowed to do that. I'm not going to hold it against them. Messing up the break order a little bit there. But professional play right there. Professional. Pushing them both to the 80% mark. They do have this kind of nasty AoE delay attack that queues up a bunch of Brave. Luckily, that guy missed like a joker, like a chump. I didn't even have the blind on him, I don't think. I'm pretty sure he just missed because he's a baddie. As I mentioned earlier, I am a professional. I'm very good at this game, and deserve all the victories I get. What did I say? Outplayed and outsmarted. That's what happened there. Outsmarted these doofuses. I'm a little apprehensive at the turn order right now because these guys do have a mechanic we're going to be seeing a lot. We've seen a bit of, and we'll be seeing a lot more of, which is if you take 10 actions in a row without a given one of them acting, they'll gain 100% Brave and HP damage reduction, which kind of sucks until they act, of course. So none of that zero boss turn shenanigans for you. You gotta let them do stuff every so often. I guess that's their God-given right as Americans to act on occasion. I shouldn't begrudge them that much, but that doesn't mean I don't have to like it. Another one's big AoE delays we talked about. Luckily, we have the Ferris Call on them, so that it doesn't end up keeping the Brave that he gains from that. That's the danger. They push you back, and then they have a big pile of Brave, and then they shoot you again. Once again, kind of Setzer with his freeze is really good for that. Although in this case, we used the Ferris Call, and we're able to get out of that situation with that. That being said, I am bringing the freeze in now because here we go again, pushing them back, but at least they're not getting all the Brave, so they can't 3-turn delay. I mean, we're supposed to be allowed to have 3-turn delays. What do you think this is, a fight with Gladio in it? Anyway, they did put up a pretty beefy shield, which is a little concerning. Shields are always a bit annoying, but when there's a crit orb, you can see it's a little scary. We luckily managed to push them back and crit through the shield, or crit our way through the shield with Red Spiral, using the single target damage I've mentioned before. At this point, I'm like, you know what, we need to just push that orb all the way up. So we're going to go ahead and drop the Kursame Call and go into Summon. Bringing them rainbow numbers, the works. Going to use the Energy Ray. We're pulling out all the stops here, getting rid of those shields, just pushing the orb back to the top because we can't be bothered here. Maximum damage. Also, I don't know if it's important, but I try to use Vaan's LD as the opening when he has after he gets fixed ice on him, just because that's the attack with the least battery associated with it, I assume. Most Brave hits? I'm not sure. I haven't done the math. That's just kind of off the top of my head. I assume that's a decent idea to do. So I'm pretty happy that they're paralyzed thanks to Ramuh right now because of all that Brave that guy seems to have accrued. Excuse me. So they just harden their defenses, and that sucks. I mentioned this earlier. Oh, great. Thanks, Yuna. High turn rating in front of A. Gonna go ahead and battery the team. Not that it matters much. But this is a little bit concerning. Okay, I did lie. It's not... Okay, no, I didn't lie. I think I don't actually know if it's Brave damage reduction. It's HP damage reduction to 0. Or they take 0 HP damage if they don't get to act, and that's no good for us. So we can't be letting that happen. It's okay. No one watches 9.5 minutes into a video, so no one's gonna catch that I goofed that up, or more accurately, didn't research that. Who researches fights anyway? Nerds. That's who. Real gamers go into the fight blind with the most OP team they can think of. I think that'd be a lesson to you. We'll go ahead and bring in Warrior Blight Call just for some random free damage. what we're getting is good, because we're hopping into the burst phase now. Got that mist queued up. We're going to be red spiraling the crap out of this guy. Once again, just shy of 1 million damage on that button. You'll love to see it. God damn. Vaan basically throwing Tifa LBs at this guy while he's in his burst phase. It's fantastic. Can't say I regret going to 125 on this guy after the performance he put in this Transcendence. Really kind of took a lot of the stress out of it. I think this would have been a much more challenging fight had I not brought it. But there we go. For Transcendence, I tend to bring out the big guns anyway. Ooh, 67 turns, Jesus. Still a close one. I'm a very good player, as I mentioned. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.